This is Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is AJ Brown, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
Yes, RosterWatch Nation, what is up? Welcome back. The final Sunday fantasy football championship weekend for the 2024 season. Finally here. We've been talking about it all year, how fast the season's gone by. Christmas was last week, and now we're here week 17, start sit show, watching rosters, rosterwatch.com. I'm a couple minutes late, namely because I was doing two things. I was over on the website, rosterwatch.com. I was answering a couple of questions, a couple of start sit questions over there. And number two, I was watching Rush Hour 1, with the great Chris Tucker. I mean, it's hard to beat. The rain's falling here in Charleston. It's not snowing. It's rather warm, but it's a good Sunday. I'm enjoying it. I'm ready for some more football. We had some solid games yesterday. Solid games. I mean, Bo Nix. Let's just start with that. We're going to talk about start sits, but I want to – this Bo Nix thing, they lost that game against the Bengals yesterday. Bo Nix is – if there was any question whether he was going to be legit or not, from what we've seen for the first 16 weeks of the year, Bo Nix is there. The Broncos are going to be a tough team to beat for the next decade. That's kind of where I'm sitting right now. But obviously the Patriots got boat raced, and then last night the Rams pulled that one out. That was a decent game, but good to see Trey McBride finally hit the end zone. Hopefully all of you guys are winning your matchups as you enter into Saturday. We had games Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Now we got a game tomorrow with the Niners and Lions. Looks like Isaac Guerrero is going to be back. This is it, the final weekend. Appreciate you guys. Click that like button. Click subscribe. We'll start out here with Eagles in Arizona. What's going on, brother? He sees PPR, need 2 flex and a tight end. It's tight end premium. We're going B-Rob, Jerome Ford, Chig, and Laporta. Think Chig's interesting here. Chig has been on a tear. I love Chig as a no doubter in this one right here. The other one you brought up was Laporta. Laporta on the surface has been solid the last better part of a month and a half, I think it's been. We got both of these guys ranked instead of our top 10 consensus at Roster Watch. So I like both tight ends here. Great matchup for Chig. Not as good for Laporta on Monday. I think I would lean sort of into that Chig direction for sure in tight end premium. You only need 1. So I like Chig better than Laporta this week. You need 2 flexes, though. And I think that's where you put in Laporta, and then you could pick whichever one of these running backs you want. Brian Robinson, we currently have running back 16, and Ford is the running back 18, just 2 spots lower. The better matchup definitely goes to Brian Robinson. It's a bottom 2 matchup for Jerome Ford. That game against Miami, this one may be – I was going to say maybe my least favorite game of the day, but it definitely can't be my least favorite game of the day when we have Titans, Jags, Raiders, Saints. I think the Dolphins-Browns game is going to suck, but I can't say it's going to be one of my least favorite. But I think I would lean more into the Brian Robinson side of that. So the 3 I would go with today with a 2 flex in the tight end spot would be B-Rob, Chig, and Laporta. Eagles in Arizona. Appreciate you for the great question. All right, let's go to Tyler Ortega. PPR need 1 running back. Tyja, B-Rob, or Rashad White. I feel really good about Tyja today. Currently, as a consensus, we do have Rashad White ranked higher. He's got the number 1 matchup. We love Bucky, though. The last time Carolina and Tampa Bay played, Bucky went nuclear. I think Rashad White had 11 carries for 76 yards, I think was the number. A good outing, but not a great outing. Whereas we're looking at Tyja Spears going into this number 1 role. The last time Jacksonville and Tennessee played, Pollard had 110 yards on the ground and a touchdown. No Pollard today. Tyja Spears is the 1 running back for me that I'm taking ahead of Rashad White. We do have, as a consensus, technically have these guys Rashad White ahead, but as a personal ranking, I'm much higher than Trashman and Alex are on Tyja Spears, the running back himself. So I'm going to go ahead and ride with Tyja here, Tyler Ortega. Tyler's got another question. He says, need 1 flex, Devonta Smith. Got Devonta Smith here or TJ Hawkinson. I have Jefferson also if this changes anything. We got a report that Chase Brown had an MRI this morning, was diagnosed with a high ankle sprain. That's not good news for the Bengals. And one of my underdog picks yesterday over at rosterwatch.com was the Chase Brown 102.5 total rush plus receiving. Kind of got screwed out of that at the last minute. Okay, Tyler Ortega, need one flex, PPR, Devonta Smith or TJ Hawkinson. Hawkinson hasn't quite gotten there the last couple of weeks. I think this is a game where he can get targets, but I'm just not quite on path with where Devonta Smith is at vis-a-vis TJ Hawkinson. You look at last week, I talked about this yesterday on the radio show on Sirius XM channel 87. When Pickett was in, I looked up and it was like the target disbursement at a certain point in that game. I think it was like 12-6 or something. And it ended up being 15 targets for Brown, 8 for Smith, 1 for Gainwell, 1 for Barkley. It was completely zoned in on these two dudes in the passing game. I think Devonta Smith is going to be A-okay with Kenny Pickett today. So I'm going to go ahead and ride with Devonta Smith. Colts and Browns defense. Thanks for a season roster watch. Mike, appreciate you. Thank you for joining this season and spending it with roster watch. We always appreciate that. It's been a great season, been a quick season, actually. I was going to say been a long season, but it hasn't been a long season. It's been a rather quick season. But we're here. We're doing the damn thing. Colts or Browns? Again, the Colts, you're pulling up against the Giants. Not a great game. I mean, speaking of bad games, Titans, Jags, bad game. Raiders, Saints, bad game. Colts, Giants, probably also not going to be a great game. The Jets, Bills game might not be great if Josh Allen's not playing at 100% or doesn't play the whole game. But Colts, Giants, I like the Colts defense. I've been saying this one all week. Browns against Miami's all right, but I there's much more talent on that offense than there is on the Giants side of things. I know Neighbors is pushing towards that 106 reception marker for the record, as well as fighting Brock Bowers for it. But I'm going to go with Colts defense here against the New York Giants. Much more. I like that one just a lot more. Thanks for the question, Mike. Best of luck today. Jan Sawicki, appreciate you jumping in always. Just checking in and thanking you for your help. Have a great new year and see your work next year. Thank you. Your roster watch work next year. Thank you, Jan. We appreciate you for tapping in every single week. You've been awesome, as has everybody in the chat. Always been awesome every single week, tapping into all of the shows. We're going to continue. There's no slowing down. We already have stuff planned. We've already got the Senior Bowl trip, the Shrine Bowl trip, and the Combine trip planned, scheduled, booked, and ready to go. We've already been working on 2025 NFL draft stuff. My NFL mock draft 3.0 was up on Monday this last week. And we got some spotlights up for 2025 prospects. This thing's not going to slow down. It's actually probably going to pick up even more content. It's going to be on the site this whole spring and summer than even during the season. And during the season, it's like multiple things daily. More shows here on the YouTube channel at Roster Watch. If not here already, click that subscribe button. We're going to keep on cooking. But Jan, thank you for joining and being part of the Roster Watch community. Bueno Bueno in PPR, who gets the nod? This is a tough one here. Tracy, Jamo, Kendre, or Blackshear? I think this is a tougher question. I think I answered a similar question over on RosterWatch.com. We do have a pseudo thread built here. It's the Week 17 sit start thread. If you haven't seen it, you can go over there and check it out on the website. You can get your questions answered from Trashman, from Alex, from Byron. The Blackshear thing to me is close. Like I feel good about Blackshear. I don't feel great about Blackshear. Tracy, with the injuries and with the way that offense is moving, I feel less good about than I did maybe a month ago. Jamo, I feel great about. Kendre, I do not feel good at all about. I think when you look at the matchup tool for Kendre Miller, it's bottom 10, which surprised me on the surface to see Las Vegas as a bottom 10 matchup for running backs, but that's what it is. For me, it's Blackshear or Jamo. And I think the way I answered on the website was if I need upside points, if I need like a potential 25-30 burger, I'm going Jamo. I'm plugging him in. I need the most points possible. If I need a floor, I think I'm going to go ahead and take Blackshear for that floor. I think you're going to get at least a 10, 12, 10, 14 spot out of Blackshear this weekend in that role. He's going to be the guy to me that gets the most overall touches this week for Carolina, whereas Boone could be used sparingly in different spots. So I'm going to go ahead and ride with Jamo for the upside here. Bueno, best of luck. John in Cedar Park, I'm in 4 championships, and I am a heavy favorite in all of them. It's been 9 winning years with Roster Watch. You alls, no one left behind culture is badass. Let's go. John at Cedar Park, we appreciate you. Thank you for calling in yesterday to the radio show. Keep on kicking ass. Keep on having a great offseason, great end of the season and into the offseason, winning those championships, completely dominating your friends, dominating your family, and putting cash in your pocket during the new year. Best of luck, John, and thank you for always being a part of the Roster Watch community. Soggy Danger, pick one. Myers, Dobbs, Pittman. Tough. I think I'm going to be out on the Dobbs thing today. I'm going to lean more towards Wicks if that is Watson being out. If Watson's out, I'm going towards Wicks. Dobbs probably gets his fair share of output. Again, the back end for the Vikings is not the best. It's not a tier 1 defense on the back end from a fantasy football. What am I looking to say? It's the number one. They've allowed the most fantasy points. It's the best matchup. It's the best matchup for receivers, period. So it's hard to say I'm out on Dobbs, but I think the direction I would ride with no Watson would obviously be Wicks. Wicks got the targets last week. He scored the touchdown last week. Jaden Reed's also there, and the tight ends, both banged up, but both looking to play. Pittman, also interesting. Pittman looked good against Denver a couple weeks ago. Pittman is a feature piece of this offense for obvious reasons. Pittman last week against the Tennessee Titans, they got a big win. He was only targeted 3 times. They didn't throw the football but 11 times. I don't think that's going to happen again, but I do think Jonathan Taylor is going to probably run for at least $150 today. I would venture to say, it sounds cocky maybe, but to think about Jonathan Taylor, and I don't know if you can hear the rain coming down. Hopefully my internet stays intact, but the rain's coming down heavy. I want to plug in my internet. I don't know. We'll see what happens. If this thing falls down, I might reconnect with the internet. But I think Indianapolis runs the hell out of the football again today. And I don't think that behooves Pittman at all. So for me, it's between Dobbs and Jacoby Myers. And Jacoby Myers' consensus for us is going to be the higher ranked wide receiver. We have him at wide receiver 26 consensus. So we're going to go ahead and ride with Jacoby Myers. Soggy Danger, thank you for tapping in as always. DJ says, morning, Cody, PPR, Chigakonkwo, Wicks, Madison, or Blackshear. Need one running back and a flex. Well, I think for the first and foremost, Madison hasn't been bad. Like, it feels like Madison's been bad because he took Zamir's job and he was just like borderline unplayable while starting at the beginning of the year for us in Las Vegas. Las Vegas feels like they've come around as far as producing from a fantasy perspective. For Madison, we've gotten a couple of decent games, respectable games, but I think anything that you're going to get out of Madison, you can get out of Blackshear in this Carolina role because, quite frankly, it's Blackshear and it's Mike Boone, and they just Blackshear's going to get the touches. I think I like Blackshear in that Carolina offense more than I do Madison on the Las Vegas team with Amir Abdullah there and everything else moving around there, including Bowers and Jacoby Myers. So between Blackshear and Madison, I would lean towards Blackshear for my running back spot. For your flex, I'm not going to take Madison. It's going to be between Wicks and Chig. And as far as the consistency goes, I'm going to go towards the Chig direction here. There's not really a lot there in Tennessee. There's obviously no Tyler Boyd. Pollard's banged up. Spears is the back. I would assume to see more Chig all over the formation here. Chig has been top 6 each of the last 2 weeks. I'm going to go Chig, and I'm going to go Blackshear here, DJ, today. So continue to crush and have a great week. Eagles, Cody's out swimming at Folly Beach. I grew up near Chucktown, about 20 minutes away in Goose Creek. I don't wish I was swimming right now at Folly Beach because the rain is coming down heavy. Big winds, big rain today, Eagles. But I do wish it was nice weather and I was down at Folly Beach. I do wish that. That's for damn sure. I do wish I was down there soon enough as the weather turns. Eagles in Arizona. DJ, Chig and Black. Yep, exactly. Gooner Boy, good morning, Cody. We are a Tyja Spears nation. I love that. Tyja Spears. Put that on a flag. Tyja Spears nation. Harry Snowman, Roster Watch Nation, unite. How we doing, Snowman? Appreciate you tapping in as always. Steve Garza, Jonnu or Chig? That's the question. These guys are Chig was supposed to be the next Jonnu, and we've seen how long it's actually taken Jonnu to hit this I mean, he's like 150 yards away from hitting 1,000 or maybe 120. I don't know, whatever. He's potentially on his way to hitting 1,000 is Jonnu Smith. Chig performing obviously as well. I lean Chig here with no Tua. Looks like Tua is obviously going to be a no-go. I got Chig tight end 9, Jonnu tight end 10 this week. Chig's got a top 5 matchup. Jonnu, the number 13 matchup for tight end. So I'm going to go ahead and ride with Chiggy today. Gooner Boy, Neighbors, Garendo, Ford, need one of them in half PPR. I tell you this, Gooner Boy, I take Garendo over Ford. I'm scared about Garendo, though. I'm scared about that leaving it till Monday, the potential for a setback in warmups, something like this. I like Neighbors. Neighbors is active. I'm playing Neighbors. Neighbors is playing for a purpose for himself. He's a winner at heart. And I think you look at Neighbors and you just continue to say, man, this guy on the entire season, you're in the fantasy championship for a reason, right, Gooner? There's a reason that you drafted Malik Neighbors. And even though this season hasn't been exactly what we expected or what we wanted out of Malik Neighbors, he's been one of the most consistent wide receivers in fantasy football. Since week 2, he's been actually all season. He's been into the top 35, it's the top 36 every single week. 2 weeks, week 1 and week 7, was he wide receiver 32 and 34. He scored you 8 and 11 points, which was, it's not zero. You've gotten zeros out of Pittman's and Jameson Williams's and stuff like this. He's giving you a lot of games into the top 10, 4 to be exact. He's giving you a lot of games just right around there, wide receiver 20, 24, 22, 23, 24, 20. And that's fine, man. That's 12 to 15 points. It's consistently on your roster in PPR. It's getting you there. You're in half, so I obviously scoring you a little less points than that, but he's wide receiver 10 on the season. Neighbors has gotten you to the point. Neighbors is consistent without good quarterback play. He's consistently fine and consistently scoring you points. I'm not betting on Garendo or Ford this weekend, Gooner Boy. Let's ride with our guy Malik. Kip C, I think I'm cooked. Down, holy shnikes. 133-0. They still have Amon-Ra and Terry McLaurin, even with Baker, Mike. I like that today. Saquon, JT, and Neighbors. Whoo, I think you're going to be okay. But we are here with the chip in the chair looking to pull a rabbit out of our hat. Kip, I think you're okay. You definitely need the 200 burger from JT. You definitely need a hundo and a tug from Neighbors. You definitely need Philly to lean into the Saquon thing, which I'm scared they might not do. You definitely need that. I do love that you have the Saquon JT 1-2 punch. That was one of my favorite things during the preseason, to like try to get as much as possible. If I'm drafting at the turn, try to get JT and Saquon. That's a sick. I'm glad you've got that. I'm glad you're here in the championship with that. Baker and Mike, like we said, we know how bad Tampa needs to win this game. It's at home today. Good, because if it was in Carolina, they'd be getting this rain here in a couple hours. That would not be good. But it's in Tampa. Mike has, I think, 192 yards or 182 yards, something like this. And he needs to average 90 the next 2 games, 90 plus to get that 1,000-yard marker. Baker, of course, is Baker. He needs to throw the football. I think you're in a good spot here, Kip. Best of luck. Thanks for tapping in as always. Eagles. I lived in Charleston back in the day when it snowed. Hey, I don't need any part of that, man. I grew up in North Dakota, Minnesota. I don't need no snow down here. I don't need no snow to follow me down here, Eagles. I appreciate though. Kyle Gregory, 5-point per touchdown thrown and PPR Superflex. Mac Daddy or Rico Dowdle in your Superflex spot. I think naturally you kind of just have to play the quarterback. But you are talking about Mac Daddy against the Tennessee Titans. And this game was 10-6 a couple weeks ago. What was Mac's official points in that game? Because he only had like 200 yards, and I think he threw some picks like he does every game. So that was back in week 14. Week 14, he had 7 points. 7 points. He scored 20 in week 15, 14 last week, 18 in week 13. I don't know if do I really want to lean all the way into Dowdle as far as a super? That's a tougher question. Dowdle or Mac? I think I'm gonna take Mac. It's a tougher matchup here for Dowdle. I really like Dowdle, but I think in your spot, if you can get a couple touchdown passes, which I don't think are out of the question against Tennessee here. Brian Thomas has been a killer all year. Maybe you get a little Brenton Strange. Maybe Travis Etienne wakes up a little bit. I think I'm going to lean with Mac Jones here. Kyle Gregory, best of luck, and thank you as always for tapping in on this beautiful morning. Gooner Boy, Garendo, Dowdle, and Tracy need to sit 1 in full PPR and half point per carry. If I'm going to sit one of these guys, I just talked about, I don't love the matchup for Rico Dowdle today. When you do look at the rankings, we got Tracy, we got Dowdle, and we got Garendo. Let me just go top to bottom here. We have Dowdle running back 19 with the worst matchup in the RosterWatch matchup tool. Tyron Tracy, who's obviously been banged up, did not practice, and they got a limited practice in on Friday. Middling matchup against the Colts. And then Garendo is also a bottom 5 matchup, against the Detroit Lions on Monday. He's obviously been banged up, but he got back to practice. He's running back 26. And he's also at the 26th matchup, which is tough. So I'm going to sit Garendo here of these three. None of the three, honestly, have great matchups today. But I'm going to go ahead and ride with Dowdle and Tracy, even though it's half point per carry. I don't want to push this weekend into me needing and to be honest with you, what we saw from James Conner last night, I guess, is spooking me a touch. It's just that we knew James Conner was going to play, but he got sort of cucked the whole game. Like he sort of just got, hey man. And it seemed like James Conner was trying to get back on the field, and he ended up with 4 carries for 4 yards. It seemed like Conner was like trying to get back out there, and they were not having it. I don't want that to be Garendo where they're like, you tweaked your leg, whatever. Just come out. We got Patrick Taylor. We'll send Patrick Taylor in there. Garendo, you've been a stud. We want you to be healthy next year. Like, I don't want that to be what hurts me. So I'm just going to ride with Dowdle and Tracy here. Kip, that's what I got for believing that Kyler would lead a game-winning drive to help my Seahawks. Yeah. That's Kyler. Kyler kind of inversely how Bo Nix kind of like came out yesterday and was like, yo, I'm here, like big time throws, 3 big time throws in that last drive, including that touchdown pass to Marvin Mims, which was absolutely epic. Kyler kind of peed down his leg a couple times. And that I can't say I'm shocked, but I also can't say like I kind of expected him to. I was on that side too. I kind of thought, I was like, man, the Cardinals kind of got this thing. They can go down and get this thing and finish this game out. And they just couldn't do it against this Rams defense. The Rams have played better the last, I don't know what it's been, since that bye, and they came out and they beat the Raiders and Vikings, Seahawks. The last 3 weeks, they've given up 6 points, 9 points, and 9 points. So the defense has been playing. That's, of course, coming off of that Buffalo game that went down to, was it the should have been game, right? When Sean McDermott shouldn't have called timeout. So they had 3. The next drive, they beat Buffalo 44-42, something like that. Yeah. Hey man, not this year for the Seahawks or the Cardinals, in my opinion. DJ, good luck today in championship RosterWatch CB League. Hey man, I didn't take my L yet. I took it yesterday on SiriusXM Live. I took my L there. I made the championship in the Cockamamie Business League, but I need to own my L quick. I need to own this L. And then I said last week to play Michael Penix in his rookie debut against the Giants because I thought there'd be plenty of opportunity for him to throw the football. He threw the football 27 times. He scored 7 fantasy points. He had 200 yards and a pick. And I said to play him over Jaden Daniels. I put my money where my mouth was. I played Penix over Jaden Daniels. He scored 7, and Jaden Daniels scored 47. And I still won by 9 points. I got so lucky. Josh Jacobs came through with me for me with 20 points on Monday night to really seal it. Jefferson got me 36. Bowers got me 26. Zay got me 15. I don't know how the hell I won that game, but we got through it with no J-Day. Now today we do got J-Day. So DJ, thank you for that. I don't know. Probably I feel like I didn't deserve to make the championship, but I feel like I kind of did because Jaden was on the bench. I don't know. It's very indifferent feel about that one, but even now I'm not exactly in a great spot with a lot of points being scored on me so far here, week 17, going against one man's trash, 11-3. He's up 66-15 right now. Lamar had 33. Travis Kelce had 26. Not a great showing on this start to the weekend here. Kyle Gregory, pick one: Brian Thomas, Neighbors, or Spoo. Now you're tugging. All right, we got some inactives coming out. We'll talk about the inactives here in a minute. But we got Spears with a top 10 matchup against Jacksonville. I got him as running back 15 on the week. The other two options are Neighbors and Thomas. Of course, we were just talking about Neighbors. He's been consistent all year, but he hasn't been consistently fantastic. He hasn't been consistently top 10, even though we sort of want Neighbors to be up into that conversation. I just messed this up. 1 second. All right, so Neighbors versus Brian Thomas. Neighbors, we have both Neighbors and Brian Thomas have bottom four matchups on the RosterWatch matchup tool. Both are top 15 guys, but we do have Brian Thomas 4 spots ahead of Malik Neighbors in this one. So for me, it comes down obviously to Brian Thomas and Spears. Again, I think this is more of an upside versus floor play. If you need that upside, I think I'm going to lean Brian Thomas. If you need the floor, I think I'm definitely going to lean into Spears here. I think Spears is going to get plenty of touches today. Chestnuts there. Is Josh Kelly the third stringer now? So I think Tyler is going to get between 15 and 20 touches, 16 and 20 touches, somewhere in that range. But if I need upside, I'm going Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas is, right around 1,000 yards, double-digit touchdowns. Like he's gotten you here as well as anybody else has. So I would roll with Brian Thomas today. Best of luck, Kyle Gregory. Gooner Boy, Tracy Garendo, Neighbors, and Josh Downs need to sit 1 in half PPR. I'm sitting Garendo here. Kevin Minahan, Chig or Janu, standard 12 team. I'm sitting Janu. I'm playing Chig. Talked about that one a minute ago. Continuing to do that. Kyle Gregory, thanks for the help with a great season. Best of luck, Kyle Gregory. Thank you as well. Gooner Boy, Colts or Miami? So same as the Browns take here. I feel about Miami. I kind of want to stay away from that game. I want the Colts defense. That's been the one, I think, all week that I've been consistently pushing. John at Cedar Park, you like Chig over Hawkinson in half PPR. I like Chig over Hawkinson. Yeah, I like Chig over Hawkinson, I think, in PPR and in half generally. I love Hawkinson, but it's a better matchup, top-of-the-line matchup for Chig. And Chig's been mad consistent. Hawkinson's got so many weapons to play with. I know this is a big game, but I'm leaning more into Chig for sure in almost every format. Steven Zick with the super chat from the top ropes. $20. Thank you, Steven Zick. No questions today, my brother. Just a little thank you for another great season. Happy New Year. Steven Zick, thank you very much. Appreciate you. Hopefully you had a great season. Hopefully you're playing in the championships today. Hopefully you're crushing your championships. And that's why you got no questions. That's why you got no thoughts. But I appreciate you for coming in, tapping into the show, and just jumping in and dropping the super chat. That's big, man. We appreciate that. Roster Watch Nation, Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Steven Zick, for a great season as well. Let's go back up here to Eagles in Arizona. He says, Kip, I live in AZ. Kyler has been spending too much time at the local library playing Xbox. Eagles, man. He's just a little guy. He's just a little guy. You got to leave him alone. Little guys got to do their thing. They got to play their Xbox. I seen him tweeting out when the whatever the hell game it is that he plays. He's like, oh, guess what? Look at my stat line now. Kyler. You're not in the playoffs, Kyler. Put the game controller down, Kyler. Put the controller down, Kyler. I'm with you, Eagles. Jorge, London or Neighbors? I think you got to go London here. I love me some Neighbors, but I do believe London not in this new spot, but with Penix, he hasn't been into the top 10 since week 10, but I do believe Penix is going to elevate this a little bit more. I think this is going to be a big game against Washington today where they're going to need to throw the football a little bit more. We know Penix can throw the football. I think he does throw the football. I think he forces it to his best player, and his best outside weapon is definitely Drake London. So I'm going to go Drake London today just for pure target output, and because I think the game can be pushed in a direction, whereas I think that Giant Colts game could be kind of bogged down by just running the football a ton. And it could be a quick game. Like last weekend. Who was the game last weekend? Was it the Jets and Broncos? I think it was am I thinking wrong? Let me think. Was it Jets and Jets and Rams, where it was like it was like the end of the third quarter when everything else was at halftime. I think that could be the game today from the Giants and the Colts, where it's just Colts run the football a ton, getting Jonathan Taylor going like they did last week with 200 yards. I think they do that again. And then the Giants just kind of suck. So I'm going to go London here. Chig or Hawk, still going to go Chig here. Jorge, thank you. Thank you as well. Appreciate you, man. Beautiful dog in the picture. I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys not having just eggs or nothing in your pictures. I'd love to see a dog there. I got a dog myself. Blake Neighbors officially active. Devonta Adams officially active. Sauce Gardner, Quinn Williams officially active here as we head into championship weekend. Let me pop up the old X and see if we can get a list of all these inactives. See if there's anything big. As expected, Jalen Hurts officially inactive for the Philadelphia Eagles, so that's going to be 100%er as far as it goes for Kenny Pickett today. I don't think Kenny Pickett's a bad play. I'd play Kenny Pickett today over the likes of Cooper Rush, over the likes of Mac Jones. I think he's, I think I have my running back 20, or it's not running back 20, quarterback 20 for Kenny Pickett, 21. So I'd play him over Geno. He obviously already played. I play him over, let's see, who hasn't played? I played him over Aiden O'Connell. I played him over Mason Rudolph, Mac, Rattler, DTR, Cooper Rush, Locke, you name it. Like anybody on that bottom end there, play him over right around the same range as Bryce Young. Probably play him ahead of Flacco. Like that's kind of where I see Pickett right now. Remember, Pickett does have legs. He's got small hands, but he does have legs as well. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is active as well. No Curtis Samuel for Buffalo. I kind of expected that. No J.C. Horn for the Panthers, which is big for your Mike Evans shares. Anything else that has come out in the last little bit here from the inactive active side? Nothing else big. We got a rap sheet report that Garrett Wilson could request a trade if Aaron Rodgers is the Jets quarterback in 2025. Yikes. Ain't that Jets thing is going a little bit sideways for us. Not for us, but for our guy Aaron Rodgers. Kip C, how are we doing, brother? He says 2 in PPR, flex, Tyron Tracy, JMO, McMillan, Kendrick going to need some points and some good vibes on this one. Yeah, I like JMO and McMillan. I'm getting pushed away from Kendra and Tracy. I know Alex is kind of 10 toes down in the Kendra side. I love Kendra, the talent, but this team sucks. I'm not buying into Kendra being Alvin Kamara. The rest, I think they just want to get Kendra through the season, get him some snaps. I'm not leaning into Kendra. I'm going JMO and McMillan today, Kip C. Best of luck. Kick some ass. Continue crushing. Fantasy football championships here today. 80 minutes till kickoff. Big weekend. Gooner Boy, Chase Brown diagnosed with selling my fantasy team instead of hitting pay dirt. Dude, Chase Brown has been mad consistent this year. Chase Brown's going to be a big conversation this whole offseason, I believe. As far as figuring out what to do with him in Dynasty, he's been running back 12 on the season. You go week 9 to week 15. Running back 4, 3, 8, 5, and 4. And then last night, he, of course, got hurt before the second. I think he missed the last 3 drives technically, or 4 with overtime. And you could argue that Chase Brown probably scores north of 20 fantasy points if he plays those last 4 drives. I mean, he was moving. I think he had 91 total yards. His prop was 102.5. We got completely swindled on that. Chase Brown, though, crushing it. Kip, once the new COD came out, I knew it was over. Yep. For their guy Kyler. Can't wait for the Senior Bowl daily recaps. Always good stuff. Kip, they're cooking. They're coming starting this next week. So we're going to continue to keep on crushing over here at rosterwatch.com. Hokies legend Raheem Blackshear getting the start today for the Carolina Panthers. Dylan Fink championship, baby. Let's go, Dylan. Congratulations, full PPR. Different leagues. One flex, Madison or Abdullah. I got to go Abdullah here. Abdullah's been outperforming Madison, and he's been doing with sub 50% of the snaps. I think they're going to continue to utilize Abdullah in a pass catching role. Pick one, Miami or Philly's defense. Miami or Philly. So you got You got Philly, of course, against Dallas, and you got Miami against the Browns. Like I think that's a good matchup for Philly. Philly's been suffocating, but I feel better on the other side. I feel better with Miami against Cleveland. I don't know if Cleveland can do anything when you come down to DTR. DTR is banged up as well. Jameis has been banged up. If they go to Zappy, that thing could go very south. That could be how Miami kind of wins this game, is just solely on defense. They're pushing toward this playoff spot, and I think with the veterans on defense, I'm going to go Miami here for the defense, and then pick one, Tampa or Buffalo on defense. Buffalo not in a similar spot, but Buffalo is in a game that on the surface doesn't mean anything. They win or lose, it doesn't really matter, but it is a divisional game. I think I'm gonna go Buffalo. I think that the Jets are obviously have kind of one track. I don't even know, man. I don't know what the Jets are really thinking. Aaron Rodgers needs one touchdown to get to the 500 marker, but this team's been just a colossal failure. Whereas the Panthers actually look to be going in the right direction. The Panthers win today, Jets lose, and the Panthers have a better record than the Jets. They're the same record right now. So let's go ahead and ride with the Buffalo defense. Let's go with the Miami defense, and let's go with Amir Abdullah. Best of luck, Dylan Fink, today. Kip C, Blackshear was looking good in the preseason, maybe 2 years ago now. Same with Mike Boone. Mike Boone's been the same way. Preseason darlings. Now we get to see him here in week 17. JJ Hwett, Jonnu Kincaid Moreau. Thanks. Horns up, forks down. I don't know. I got the Hurricane shirt on. It's because the Longhorn shirt on because I covered the Longhorns. But hey, man, let's go. Horns up, forks down. Is that how we do this? Horns up, forks down. It's going to be a fun game. Hopefully you get to go, JJ Witt. Jonnu Kincaid Moreau at the tight end position. I like him Moreau, but I think that having Juwan Johnson healthy pushes him down the rankings a little bit more. So it really comes down to Kincaid and Jonnu. Kincaid, we currently have at tight end 14. Jonnu is at tight end 6. So we're going to ride with Jonnu. Jonnu's been, like I said, pretty consistent for us all season. So I'm going to go and ride with Jonnu. Kincaid shoulda, coulda been all season, giving us mad output, but he really hasn't been doing it, unfortunately. He had a couple of weeks of spurt there, but hasn't even given you 10 fantasy points since week 8. Dalton Kincaid. 2K OG Fanatic, Jacobs or Bucky. Talked about this one on the show yesterday. Can you play somebody? Can you bench Jacobs? Jacobs against the Vikings, the third worst game he's had all season, running back 23 back when they played the Vikings earlier this year. That was his third worst matchup of the season, third worst finish of the season, whereas Bucky, one of his best games of the entire season, came against the Carolina Panthers just a couple weeks ago. I'm going to go Bucky here, 2K. Seriously, I'm going Bucky here over Josh Jacobs. Marlon, in case Neighbors does not play, add Dobbs or Wicks. Wicks to replace in the championship game. 100% we're going into Wicks today, Marlon. NBA Live 2K9, AJ Brown or Adams. I think you go Adams here. Strictly on, I think both are great plays. We have both ranked appropriately, both ranked as top 10 plays, top 5 plays, consensus. Brown is consensus 3, Adams is consensus 4. Both have top 15 matchups. Pickett literally only looked at Smith and Brown last week. Rodgers literally only looks at Adams. Rodgers is trying to get that 500th passing touchdown. He wants it to go to Adams. I would bet money it happens today against Buffalo. I think that alone pushes me a little bit towards Adams. We have these guys literally back to back. I have them literally one like 3 and 4. So that's the direction I'm going to go here in this one. Is I'm gonna go Adams here. I actually had the ranking the inverse. I'm gonna flip that right now. I'm gonna flip it so Adams is 3 and Brown is 4. Put my money where my mouth is. There it is. NBA Live. Dollar Bill, Blackshear, Zacchaeus, NWI, and Blackshear. 100% Dollar Bill. 100% Dollar Bill going Blackshear here. Kip C, after missing the playoffs, I was just trying to not finish last in the CB League. My team fell apart like my quarterbacks, Kyler and Stroud. Your quarterbacks were good, but they just weren't good enough, and they just the Stroud thing's also going to be a big conversation this whole offseason, Kip. You did well. You pushed strong towards the finish line, but you didn't quite get there because, I mean, I'm here. One man's trash is here. Byron's mom, she's been a hammer, obviously. Kip, it's a tough league. It's not easy to win. That'll be a tough one here. Let's see if we can do this. Sheshfun Schneider. Sheshfun Schneider. That's what I'm going to go with. Pick 2. Hopefully I didn't butcher that name. Pick 2, Brian Thomas Jr., Terry McLaurin, or Spears. We get a pick 2 here. We get a pick 2. That's a nice thing for you to give us. We get to pick 2. Terry McLaurin, number 2 matchup here against the Atlanta Falcons in Week 17. Brian Thomas Jr. actually ranked a couple spots ahead consensus for us. I lean Terry McLaurin over Brian Thomas. I also like Spears at the running back position quite a bit, but I think I'm going to go both wide receivers here, BTJ and Terry McLaurin. I like your upside. I like your points. I like your scoring. I think you're going to win the championships today, Szechuan. I'm playing Brian Thomas Jr. and Terry McLaurin. Best of luck. Jelly of the month. T smashed, and the opponent played duds in Mixon and Connor. Half PPR flex, Tracy or Reed. Tracy health split or Reed usage. I think you just go ahead and you ride with what you know. And what you know is that Reed's going to be healthy, and you know that's a big game. It's a big divisional game. The Packers need and want to win this game to better themselves in the NFL playoffs surrounding. I think if you do look at the standings, the Packers are a game and a half? They're 13-2 versus 11-4. So the Vikings lose 2. They lose today against the Packers, and next week against the Lions, they'll be 13-4. If the Green Bay Packers win today and win next week against the Bears, they'll be 13-4. I'm not sure about the tiebreakers. I could probably figure that out if I go to the ESPN playoff machine. I should probably know this. Playoff predictor machine. All right, so let's give the win to the Packers this week. We'll go Lions there. We'll go there, and then we'll go Lions. So that gives, it would at least get Green Bay up to the 5th seed, which is obviously better than the 6th and obviously better than the 7th if Washington is on their tail. And Washington obviously wins this week against the Falcons and next week against the Cowboys. Washington will be 12-5. The Vikings will be 13-4 if they lost today and lost next week to the Lions. The Packers will be 13-4 if they won today and won next week. But if the Vikings beat the Packers today, the Packers could be the 7 seed. So you're talking about going to Philly, going to Tampa, where Los Angeles is the 3. So again, 7 seed or the 5 seed is kind of what this hinges on here for the Packers. The Packers need to win. Reed, point being, needs to be an important piece. Reed's one of their best players. If Jacobs gets slowed down at all, needs to go to Reed, needs to go to Wicks. I think you go ahead and you play Reed today, Jelly of the month. Joe Justice, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to you and yours, big dog, Cody. Joe Justice, thank you, brother, for tapping in. Thank you for getting the dog in there. I appreciate every single week. Somebody's got to get the dog in the chat. Thank you, Joe Justice, for being that guy. Soggy Danger, pick one. Flacco, Pickett, Rush, and Rudolph. It's ugly. I lost her. I just said this one. I just answered this one perfectly for you. Kenny Pickett. I think you got to go Kenny Pickett here. He's got the 2 guys in Smith and Brown. This is a game that it may not be must win, but it's pretty much a need. I mean, you pretty much need to win here. You can look at the playoff predictor the same way. If Philadelphia, so Washington plays the Falcons this week and Washington plays the Cowboys. So Washington wins both those games. They're 12-5. And let's say the Eagles lose today to the Cowboys because the Cowboys have been catching teams, right? And then next week, all of a sudden, you get the Giants at the Eagles. We don't think the Giants are going to win, but it's a divisional game. Let's say hypothetically the Giants lose that game or win that game. Eagles lose because Hurts doesn't play, whatever. That could drop the Eagles down to 12-5. I think it's important. Kenny Pickett plays well. It's important that they utilize their weapons. I think they're going to be pushing this football out wide. I like Pickett being pushed into that role. Rush is up there. Pickett's got better legs. That's the difference for me. Flacco, I don't know if they threw the ball 11 times last week with Richardson. They might throw the ball 14 times this week with Flacco. Taylor needs to have a massive game. They know what they can do and what they can't do. And know what they can do is they can run that football. They're trying to make the playoffs. There's a chance. There's still a spitting chance the Colts could make the playoffs here. They need to run the football to get there. Thanks in advance, says DJ. Thanks for advice all season. By the way, DJ equals one man's trash in CB League. Hit me up with a tweet when match is over. Good luck. Day, DJ. You're one man's trash? You're going down, brother. You're going down. Kip, let's hope the Flacco can connect with JT for 3-4 catches also. At least he throws to his backs. That's fine. Well, I'll take a couple targets, but I tell you what I will take. I'll take 200 yards on the ground, first and foremost, for JT. Natish Sharma, full PPR Debo versus Detroit or Jalen McMillan against Carolina. I think this is more interesting than people may think it is. Debo. What can we say about Debo that hasn't already been said? I love both Jalen McMillan and Debo. Debo doesn't like me, blocked me obviously on the old Twitter. Last week though, Debo kind of got right. 25 fantasy points, more than he scored in a combined. I think each of the last 5 weeks, I think he had a total of, let's see here, 10, 15, 18, 24.9, 25.6. 25.6 points the last 5 games, 25.1 last week. So do we think we're going to get the same Debo? I don't know. The season's pretty much shot for San Francisco. Do we think we're going to get the same Debo? I don't know. I'm not quite sure if I'm there, but I know we're going to get the same McMillan, and that's consistent McMillan because obviously everyone's focused on Mike Evans. There's no JC Horn today. And McMillan's been good. McMillan's given you 15 plus fantasy points each of the last 3 weeks, something that Debo cannot say he can do either. So, Natish, let's go with McMillan. A couple more questions here. Jorge, what makes Neighbors London tougher call is that Flacco may make it better game script for Neighbors. Appreciate the kind words. That's my dog, Kobe. Kobe, great name. Great name. That's a doodle, right? A golden doodle. I think that's what they call that. It looks like a golden doodle. We used to have a friend that had one. Neighbor, I agree with you on Flacco front. I do agree with that. But I also think the same goes for the Jaden Daniels Penix game, Washington and Atlanta. JJ Witt, appreciate it, boss. Yep, heading to Atlanta for the game Tuesday. Good luck. I was thinking about it, man. I'm only a couple hour, 4-hour drive to Atlanta. I was thinking about going. I don't know. See if I can convince my wife. We'll see what happens. See if she'll go with me. Tommy Taquito, best of luck to have fun, JJ Witt. Tommy Taquito, Downs, Hawkinson, or Waddle in my last flex. PPR, no tight end premium. Thanks, Cody. Happy holidays. Dog. Downs, Hawkinson, or Waddle. This is 100% Downs for me. Any game with Downs this year and Flacco playing together has been a Downs top 26 game. He's been consistently into the top 26, has been Downs. He hasn't had the elite top 10 game, but he's been consistently into the top 26 with Joe Flacco in PPR. So we're going to go ahead and ride with Josh Downs today over Hawkinson and Waddle. Mr. Can't get into the top 36. That's his name. He's done it, once this year, twice this year? Chris Byard, Titans, Browns, or Raiders defense? Oofta. Titans, Browns, or Raiders defense. Raiders get the Saints, Titans get the Jags, and Browns, of course, get the Dolphins at home. I think on this is the best you can do, Chris. Titans, Browns, and Raiders. I want to go with the Browns. I want to go with the Browns, but they're playing against the best talent. But if it is Huntley and Skyler, Huntley predominantly, I think I'm going to go ahead and ride with the Browns here. Best of luck, Chris Byer. Tyler Sotart, should I sit Achane for Garendo? Should I sit Achane for Garendo? The answer, Tyler, is simple. No, you do not sit Achane for Garendo. I know everyone says, but without Tua, if you look at Miami and what Achane's done, but what has Devon Achane done for me lately? Running back 2, running back 2, running back 6, running back 6, running back 24, running back 7, running back 11, running back 14, and running back 3 last week. He's running back 5 on the season. He's been getting the snaps. He's been consistent. He's got you here, and you're here. Championship weekend. Garendo's back. Garendo's not 100%, and they're out of the playoffs. Miami's fighting for a playoff spot, at least. Let's go with Achane, man. Kipsy, good luck to all the nation today. Let's fill up the trophy case. The draft season is coming up and some of the best content of the year. 2025 fantasy season will be here before we know it. Chris Byard, yes, I benched the Broncos because of the Burrow effect. Hey, it works, man. I don't know what the Broncos scored exactly on defense, but I know they gave up 30 points, so that's all that matters. You did the right thing. You sat them. Go ahead and ride with those Browns today, Chris Byard. Appreciate everybody from RosterWatch Nation for tuning in for a great season. Be sure to continue to tap in. Tomorrow we'll be live with the Monday Night Pick'em show, preparing for the Detroit-San Francisco game, and then we'll be full-fledged into the 2025 NFL draft cycle. I can't wait for it. I'm ready. About 120 days till 2025 NFL draft. I can hardly get the words out. I need to go get some water. I need to go get some coffee. I need to go get some lunch. I need to sit down. I need to watch some football and win me a couple fantasy football championships, as do you. Thank you, guys. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you on the next one. Good luck.
This is Anthony